Alright, today we're going to be doing a review for Transformers Dark of the Moon. I'm going to be doing things I like, things they could have done better, and some questions. So, starting right off with likes. The opening scene is wonderful. Starting with the war on Cybertron and going to the Apollo 11 moon landing, investigating the Ark was just wonderful. When they're doing the moon part, the sequence there, and they show that radio guy, or the guy on the radio, whatever. I like his reaction being all speechless as the astronauts are describing the Cybertronians that they're finding. Sam's reaction to seeing his parents in their matching outfits was pretty funny, actually. Sam's backup car looks like a very shitty version of Bumblebee. Even has the disco ball and the air freshener in it from the Camaro, of course. That tentacle monster jump scare thing wasn't very... I don't know what those things at Shockwave commands are called. I just call them tentacle thingies, so... Yeah, that wasn't very scary when it jumps out there in that. The entire Impress Me scene was just wonderful. I have to say, I loved all of that. It was funny and it was just great. Wang does a good job getting Sam to follow him when he takes his stuff and wanders off into the bathroom. Brass's reaction to Wang's death was perfect. Yeah, he just says, "Oh, workmate died, whatever." You know, it's pretty funny. So Autobots, we have Prime is back. He didn't change very much, but he has his trailer finally. And it looks basically exactly like the Prime's trailer from G1, and it's wonderful. I love it. We have the new Autobots, the Wreckers, Leadfoot, Topspin, and Roadbuster, who transformed into NASCAR cars, but they put like big old jet engines and machine guns, and I just love the look of that. The only thing I could say about Bumblebee is that his newer Camaro, the 2010 one, is my favorite version of the Camaro in all of these movies. Sentinel Prime was a good addition, and I mean, it was kind of interesting that they had Nimoy voice him, and I like his swords too. And how he can be like two swords or one big one. That was a nice touch too. It was nice to see Simmons back, as well as Lennox. Brasser's comedy moments were pretty funny in my opinion, and I like the way he reacts when he meets Bumblebee for the first time and tries to fight him. I mean, it was stupid, but it was still funny. Dutch was okay. He's supposed to be the smart guy, but also has the whole losing his temper thing, which I thought was good. You know, the whole bar sequence. The wingsuit scene was very cool, I have to say. And then Decepticons. There's not that many. I mean, not that many named ones. The Dreadbots are cool. I like the design, and their entire chase was cool. Megatron's new look is... it's alright, I guess. I mean, they finally gave him an Earth mode, like an Earth truck mode, which... no. And then, Shockwave was pretty neat too, although He needed more color, if you ask me. He's supposed to be purple, not just blah, silver, and, whatever else he is. Let's see. The scene where Ironhide drives towards the Dreadbots and then he crashes into them, and they're all in slow motion while they're transforming. That was awesome. And then of course Ironhide decides to kill both of the Dreadbots, and then when Ironhide slams it down on that red car and blows up the auto parts, so that was pretty funny too. I got a good laugh when Sentinel Prime tells Charlotte that he doesn't take orders from her. That was just wonderful. Being an asshole to the asshole character was great. Megatron's plan in this movie is definitely right out of G1. Bringing Cybertron to Earth to rebuild Cybertron, not to mention the scene when Megatron shoots the Lincoln Memorial and then sits down, and it was right inside of G1 as well. Simmons' line, we just stood by and watch while Sam's crying, before the Autobots leave, and that sad music was playing, it was a good moment, I have to say. It was really good. Also, in that scene, I can feel Sam, I really can, with how sad he is, with the Autobots having to leave, and, then they make everything more sad when Starscream destroys the Autobots' ship. Scene where Sam, Lennox, and the other soldiers are driving into a destroyed Chicago was really, really emotional, with that sad song playing as well. They did a good job making me believe that Starscream killed the Autobots in the ship, and I was really happy when they returned, because there wouldn't have been much of a movie left, would there? Okay, the entire building collapsing scene was amazing, and just a very, very visual spectacle. And then, making it out that not all the soldiers make it by having one of them die. Very rarely does that happen in these types of scenes. Letting Sam and the soldiers kill Starscream was a nice touch to say that humans aren't completely useless, even though they kind of are more prominently shown in the movies more than the actual Transformers are. Brains and whoever that other guy was, Wheelie, I think it was, single-handedly turn the whole Battle of Chicago, turn it back in the Autobots' favor. When Bumblebee takes Soundweave's head off, that was awesome. This movie goes to more lengths to show how much of a badass Optimus Prime is when he comes flying in, killing the remaining Decepticons, and then using his claw knuckles and ripping Shockwave's eye out, and using his arm cannon to shoot down the pillar. Then he goes and fights Sentinel, which is one of my top fights in this movie. He gets his arm cut off, and Megatron intervenes. But even with one arm, Optimus Prime rips Megatron's head right out, with a little bit of spine, and manages to use Megatron's gun to finish Sentinel Prime off. Optimus he's just really, really a fucking badass. Not to mention how sweet Prime's axe looks. And then that heavy guitar music that plays as Prime is standing up while looking at Megatron and Sentinel Prime who are dead just really, really adds to his badassness in the movie. Things that could have been done better. So, introducing the new human character, Carly, with the pantsless shot, low enough that you can see her ass. That's one reason why these movies have such a bad reputation. Carly does not also have much in terms of a backstory throughout this entire film. All we learn is that she had a brother in the military who died. That's it. That's all you need to know. Just ask Michael Bay. That's what he wanted. These movies could have cut back on the Star Trek references. I know Nimoy voices Sentinel Prime, but come on. You don't have to just shove them in there for the sake of product placements, do you? Those Russian guys didn't need to make such a build-up to the Chernobyl name when he's explaining to Lennox where they're going. Lennox never questions why the Russian guy is scared, or what scared him off. The job interview montage could have been shortened a lot, though I would have just cut straight to the interview at whatever place that Sam went to and got hired at. Within 30 seconds of being on screen, you can tell that Meering is a complete asshole, and they should have toned it back a bit. Prime gets pissed that the U.S. government is keeping secrets from him. Clearly he doesn't know the U.S. government that well, does he? Buzz Aldrin should have had a better reaction to meeting Optimus Prime for the first time. Meeting Dylan is very awkward, not to mention how much he hits on Carly right in front of Sam. I don't know why Sam didn't punch him. I would have, though. Would have punched him in the nuts. And then in the face. Sam's laugh and scream are both very annoying. The scenes with Dutch losing control were a bit, in the bit where Simmons asks who his girlfriend, Dutch's girlfriend is, and he says, yeah, that could have been cut. On Moon, the Autobots walk like there is a difference in gravity that actually affects them, and we all know that's not true. And Soundwave. Back in Revenge of the Fallen, Soundwave was a satellite, and in this movie, he's just a regular bot on Earth, of course. And they don't bother to explain the transition between the two. Oh yeah, that small pink bumblebee that Laserbeak transforms into is fucking creepy. Wang is a very creepy character and is also an asshole to his coworkers. Yes, he is. Yes. The whole scene in the bathroom stall was a mess. What Wang thought he was talking code was really just a lazy and stupid ass way to fill in with sex jokes, and they could have just had Wang just straight up tell Sam he's got information for the Autobots, gave it to him, and that's it. But no, they have to shoehorn middle school level jokes into this movie. And then the following stare down scene with Brazzers could have been cut. Wang also has 2 handguns under his desk or wherever he keeps them, which I don't know how no one has ever noticed that, ever. Carly is also an asshole because the scene that she tells Sam about the Mercedes that was given to her, and Sam says they should sell it and buy a house, and she says it's paying her dues, and that's like, I felt bad for Sam. That's her way of being like, fuck you, I'm not getting rid of this car, it's mine. I'm keeping it, damn it. When Bumblebee threatens the humans at the nest gate when Sam comes and is trying to get in, even though they were not going to hurt Sam or Bumblebee, I don't know why he had to threaten them. So with the Autobots, Prime didn't change. The only problem is that once he got trapped by that wire, he just is gone. And it took too long for them to free him. By the time Prime does get free, he's just cleanup for the remaining Decepticons, and of course Shockwave, who was damaged by the humans anyway. The Wreckers are great, but they didn't have much screen time. They didn't show up until the part where the Autobots are forced to leave anyways, and then you see them when they're driving down and shooting at the Shockwave, and then when they rescue Prime, and that's it. As far as I remember, that's it. And I hate that they killed Ironhide. I mean, he was really the only Autobot who had any character development in the movie about Transformers. 1 second. Product placement. Just kidding. I find it dumb that Mirroring will not let Sam work with the Autobots, even though Sam has known them a lot longer than she has. I don't get why the people in this world think that they would actually be better off without the Autobots to fight Decepticons, given the fact that the Autobots have been fighting Decepticons for a hell of a lot longer than the humans have and know what they're doing. All the scenes with military has too much military garble. When they're trying to get the Ospreys to the drop zone and you hear all that talking going over the helicopter radio, I assume is the helicopter radio. It was stupid. Stupid. It's like, I don't know what they're saying. Why are you telling me this information? I don't need to know. Ness does nothing to stop Sentinel Prime from stealing the space bridge pillars and escaping. Lennox goes as far as to order his troops to retreat, stand down, do not engage. And of course Optimus Prime shows up just a little bit too late to be able to stop Sentinel. The RV discussion between Sam and his parents is awkward, and I would have just cut it. Sorry. It was so awkward. Again, it was just a reason to have more jokes about relationships and garbage in it. They wait about halfway through the movie to give a spoken introduction to the Autobots' new ship, the Xanthium. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. The meeting between Simmons and Mirroring could have been shortened or cut, which is what I would have done. Cut. Maybe I should just call these what should have been cut from these movies instead of reviews. Anyway, movie expects me to believe that Dylan and Sam Dylan calls Sam in the daytime, stays connected during that same phone call when it goes to nighttime, all just to give Sam enough time to have Dutch hack the phone so we can know exactly where the final battle is going to take place. And so Sam can go rescue Carly because we needed something to drive the plot forward. There's a lot of really random cuts that the movie just goes from day to night that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. The Decepticons are easily outsmarted by humans, and for an advanced alien robotic species, whatever they say, this should not be possible. Humans make mistakes. Sorry, that's... Just kidding. Shockwave in this movie, his appearance does look cool, but he was a huge letdown. His introduction is done wonderfully, as I have stated already, but he doesn't show up again pretty much till the final battle. And even then, he has a very small confrontation with the Wreckers, kind of stands around. And then until the soldiers are doing their parachute thing and gets easily distracted by a fucking parachute. And sort of overpowered by a goddamn parachute. Seriously. Just put a parachute on these guys and kill them. That's all you gotta do. Although they do give Optimus Prime the honor of final killing him. The humans would be like, oh, we weakened him for you. We weakened him for you, Optimus. Like in the previous film and the two that come after this one, the final battle of this movie suffers from being long and drawn out. It gets kind of boring after a while. Ratchet is only ever used in like 3 or 4 scenes, and is pretty much left out of the movie for the most part. Alright, now, questions and final thoughts. So, why was Dino threatening the group of Russians at the beginning of the film? Does Shockwave ride inside the tentacle monster, or what? What did that Russian guy, do to make Laserbeak have to kill him? What are all those black spikes in the Autobot base for? Why are the Decepticons hiding in Africa? How does Sam not notice that Wang's hand never left his mouse? Why does Laserbeak stop chasing after Sam? Why do Optimus Prime and Sentinel Prime drive all the way out to that desert grasslands area just to have a conversation about which of them should be in charge? Why does Bumblebee attempt to stand when Carly enters the room where Simmons and Sam are doing their investigation? Why, in the scene where the Russians are showing Sam and Simmons the pictures of the pillars, why does Sam tell the Russians that they are components for a space bridge and that they know that that because this was what it is, because the Autobots have 5 of them? I feel that the Russians didn't need to know that because they don't have any farther anything in the movie. So in the fight between Sentinel Prime and Optimus Prime, it ends with Optimus Prime being spared by Sentinel Prime. And so why exactly does Optimus Prime not take the opportunity to kill Sentinel Prime? When Soundwave takes Carly hostage by transforming into his car, the windows are left down, so unless Soundwave has Carly held down by a seatbelt or other methods, why does Carly not try to escape out the windows? Why does Sam hesitate to shoot Dylan? He has the perfect moment and yet decided to ask questions and get disarmed by Laserbeak instead. How do the Decepticons gain control of Chicago's bridges? Why does Starscream do more damage to the Ospreys? How did the Autobots just suddenly get captured by the Decepticons? Alright, final thoughts. Overall, this movie is a huge improvement over Revenge of the Fallen. Despite still having lots of issues, it's a bit less racist, but still very sexist, which is something that needs to be taken out of these movies. The humor was at least on a better level, sometimes, but it's still bad humor. This just feels like a better continuation from the first movie rather than Revenge of the Fallen, and I will watch this movie any day over Revenge of the Fallen, and therefore, I bestow a 6 out of 10 on this movie.